O le whaamama awenga le nei ma le Pacific Isi, mo au tupe whaamumoli Samoa, a o tapuni ai ofisa mo le whaawa yaso. Whaonga nei lola na waunanga forward ua, o le direct transfer. A whai wa yesa membership card ma e whaonga ina le internet banking, o le matua e whaingo fia lava. Na o le tipose mai lava lau se leni ni matua account, o le whaatino leo la foina o lau se leni mo a inga I Samoa. E ia inga I tahu na whaamalia mo nisi whaamatalanga le nei au nanga fo. Wala au le telefoni o walu se lau o tasi o nono po le lua fitu ono fitu iwa fitu wha. Pe text mai fo ilo suafa I le valu tolu o.
Telephone voucher is one of the most convenient ways that I'm finding now to do my shopping here at Farmer Joe, and my sister just sent through the voucher on my cell phone, and I just come straight to Farmer Joe to do my shopping.
Ole si tulanga pitusili ole tau. Ole lafo me ole pepa tala oloa. Ona whaangale e whaatau I oloa e au ngā mole ainga.
I think it's really convenient for families overseas if they don't know how to help their families here. Then this is the perfect way.
Mai ai la sa so fua tau e lesi sa.
Le fia foi sa we mo mawina le foi au nang fo ala mai le talo for voucher. Ila wana whaatau ma me te mga oi. Ile voucher.
Sai mo le talo pa voucher ua mau le apususi o se wa fine. So se paro loa fai ngo fie. A me se le tferwa I mala telefoni. Tai mi uma. Ai lo la fo mer cash ona ino o te maore ainga.
Pa te tu la le talo for voucher mo le foi au nang fo pa tai. Ma lu la le tsam pai.
Pa tai talo pa voucher. Teki talo pa voucher.
Talapalava everyone, ma lole so for mau malelangi e mama, and a warm Pacific greetings to all of our wonderful viewers who have tuned in today. It's hump day, it's Wednesday, and we're on level 3. Well, to be quite honest, I feel like it's still level 3.5 maybe. Unfortunately, here in Auckland, we are still struggling a little bit with regards to the levels. There still is a very strict restriction around what you can do, what you can't do. And today I've decided that I am going to can do a wild bean cafe coffee. Yes, it's probably the simple things in life that I've always been craving throughout the last 5 weeks here in lockdown in Auckland. But how are you? And how have you been, Auckland? I've seen so many posts around going to McDonald's and KFC. What is the hype? I don't know. I've actually wanted to go over to Clendon McDonald's to see if I could quickly get some lunch so I can just kind of like share with everyone here online. But unfortunately, the line went all the way to the other end, so I decided to just head over and get a coffee instead, which is only probably 5 people waiting in line. Anyways, a massive whātau to everyone who's tuned in. Unfortunately, Claudia is not here today. So we are sending a lot of our aroha and alofa to Claudia, and I hope you are well. But it is, we do have a special guest today, and we've got Flora, the beautiful social butterfly. And we're going to check in with Flora. Flora is currently studying papers for mental health, and we wanted to discuss with Flora and talk about certain aspects of mental health that does kind of destroy Pacifica people and just in general. We are not professionals, so I just wanted to quickly say that we're not professionals, but we do want to normalize the discussion around this. And I do want to make a shout out to, of course, Pat Swanky there that's just tuned in as well from For the Boys podcast. If you haven't already, head over to For the Boys podcast, hit like, and the boys do the exact same thing, normalize it. And they had a interesting guest last week, and I thought he was awesome, from Wellington as well, talking about different certain things in life and mental health, but it is important, and I know that we as Pacifica people do struggle from time to time to talk about the subject, but today we get to talk to Flora about it openly, discuss just certain things. We're not professionals. I need to make that clear. Otherwise, have you been vaccinated? It was an honor and privilege to be part of an NGO meeting set up by Ariana Williams, and a massive shout out also to Renuka, who invited me to this meeting, just getting to know a little bit more about the vaccination and what the team here in Manurewa are doing to assist our people, so that the information that they receive is correct. I'll be honest, I haven't been vaccinated yet because of that fear. But it's nice to see Ariana Williams, so a shout out to Ariana Williams and also to Renuka for putting together initiatives so that our community understand the importance of being vaccinated. Whether, I know that there's a lot going on in social media, and I think I spoke about it a little bit with Claudia a few weeks ago, where my dear friends and also my dad said that we need to get vaccinated, purely based on the fact that he wants us to protect ourselves and protect our loved ones. I did challenge my dad. I said, why? I don't have to, I'm an adult, I get to make my own decisions. And, as you all know, what dad says always, he always has a comeback, and, him and also Anne made it very clear that certain parts of our life, for example, smoking. I am an ex-smoker, so it clearly states on the packet that it kills. And what do? I smoke. I am no longer smoking because of my health. It does come first. So it's the exact same thing. We're talking about all of this kind of stuff about, but it was an interesting conversation around vaccination. So we'll be touching a little bit about that with Flora. And yes, I have now booked to get vaccinated. So yeah, fingers crossed I don't turn into a zombie. But look, just get the facts first, and just make sure that you are protecting yourself and your family. Also, I just wanted to quickly say a massive shout out to Tumua that's just tuned in. Also to Ciolo, who's just tuned in. Everyone that's tuned in, thank you. And before we head into a break, I just wanted to say, to make a shout out to everyone that's gone back to work. This morning, I was a little bit upset because I was meant to head out for a coffee. I was going to merge bubbles with one of my good friends, but unfortunately, because they're still concerned about COVID, this merging of bubbles didn't happen, so just a little bit bummed. So it is important to stay safe. It is, remember that we still have high numbers. The cases, there are still some mystery cases, and I know that Lorenzo will also update us at 3:00 this afternoon. So with all the updates, you can catch Lorenzo's show at 3 p.m. Otherwise, let's bring on our special guest. Let's talk a little bit about mental health. There's a lot of courses out there as well, and that's happening. So let's bring on Flora, and we're just going to a quick break and then talk about mental health right after the break.
Tau tua male au nanga mo tau sa mo service station le tona ma. Ma tau tau tuina lo ta vale, ma le tele unisio ma tau au nanga ise.
ai le ngata foi le ma tau te sea ke ina fo i lau tāwani. Ma tau te sapala ia fo i suau mo lau tāwani. A fai foi o vai pa o lau sa. A wala te poli ma tau te sapala ia fo i ea mo lau tāwani. Molo no posila fia. Mua ta pela uta vale pe out. Lua ta pela o telefoni il time utu ina ila uta vale. Male vaenga mulu. Mana tua fo. E matua I fasa ina lo ta mafta pa ai no fuanga fa pe. Ota Samoa. Ore mota mo Samoa. Ma te fia e au una pe mo o Samoa. Maftaila fia mai. We'll see you again. God bless.
Welcome back. I'm just sitting here going, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous without our beautiful girl Claudia. And look, we do have a very special guest that's joining us today to talk a little bit about how it has been for her studying during a lockdown. Our beautiful Flora is a social butterfly who advocates for our, our youth, our mental health, and you know what, I'm so excited to have you. But before we talk a little bit about that and introduce Flora, I just wanted to quickly say a massive shout out to Soul Delicious, who's just tuned in as well, and she's actually open for level 3, but in only a matter of hours she was sold out. So I just wanted to quickly say to everyone, if you are craving McDonald's or KFC and you don't want to stand in line, how about checking out our local businesses and supporting our local businesses. And on that subject, I wanted to say a massive whawhitai lava to all of our sponsors. Without our sponsors, we are unable to have this platform for our amazing people who continue to share their stories, their struggles, their challenges, to connect with our community. Lea Fionga ia whai malo Ellen Stalmer's Pacific Easy Money Transfer, the safe and secure way to send your money over to Samoa. And it's not just about helping your family in Samoa. Sending money to Samoa does also help our economy. So a massive shout out to Whai Malo. And also to Pacific 40. Pacific 40 is a new and a popular online service that can send a quick voucher to your family. And I know we've had a bit of problem before when we send $50 to your cousin to get baby something, and instead of paying, they go and they take their boyfriend out to the makeki and mika with that $50. Well, Pacific 40 has a solution. You can actually top up, whatever it is that you want to share the love. Send, like last week, Georgie's Pizzas went off. So this week again, I'll be sending a few vouchers to a few special people in Samoa to head over and treat themselves there at Georgie's Pizza. Not forgetting Malta or Samoa, you can fuel up with Pacific 40 in collaboration with Malta or Samoa. So if you're finding yourself stuck somewhere in the city and you need to, fuel up, do it with Malta Samoa there in Samoa. So say Oriana. As you can see, the beautiful Flora has got the background there of our modelling career that has been put on hold because of COVID. And those beautiful dresses are from Say Oriana, who are available online and also a click and collect service. So head over to Say Oriana now. Seki Works, of course, the Pacific Business Hub, a massive thank you to you all. Support your local. But anyways, let's get into it. Flora, talofa lava, thank you so much for joining us. How are you and how has lockdown been for you?
First of all, talofa and hello, welcome, greetings, everyone. Hello to all the people that's viewing from near or far. My name is Flora, as Bea said. How has lockdown been? It has been, it's been going. A lot of struggles and barriers, but it's going. It's going. We're here today. We're in level 3 and gonna keep going.
Yeah. Did you head out to McDonald's or KFC today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told myself I am not going to line up. I'm not going to queue up. You know, everyone else can go. I'm just going to wait for Tan's Kitchen, Jay's Eatery, and Satay Noodle House. So those are my 3 go-to.
I know, I believe Satay Noodle House has opened up their doors, but they are very strict following the COVID rules.
Yes.
By the government. So, I just wanted to quickly say, Satay Noodle House, who was a guest here on the show as well, he has gone absolutely viral at the moment. He's, Instagram, Facebook, TV1 News, podcast, awesome vibe. So support your local, head over there and support your local. That's going to be my saying all throughout the whole week. I have also posted up on my promotional page. There's a post there that's from Feeds in the South, and I've actually just posted up student restaurants that are open. Small businesses that we can go and support instead of heading out to the, and I've actually, what I've heard as well, and this is from DJ Lamont as well, from G Brook Entertainment, he actually commented and posted today that the McDonald's was actually not even worth the wait. So don't.
Because it's not.
It's not. My home computer's probably better now. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's talk about a little bit about your studies. You're studying. How has it been during lockdown? Obviously I have never experienced it. What's the experience been with studying during lockdown?
That's a good question because I get asked that a lot, especially when I'm working. Studying in lockdown is actually very hard to adapt to. Because, you come from like a lecture room to a tutorial room, and then all of a sudden you're just in bed. Just in bed in your PJs. Just like, leave the camera off while the microphone is on and you're just doing your work. It's been really good. It's been very good lately. Like the past 2 weeks, it's been helpful. The first 2 weeks, I had to try and adapt so much and like really hard, because when you have to try and make a 7:30 a.m. Tutorial, or you're still trying to wake up your brain cells, and then you have back-to-back classes to tutorial reviews and then another lecture, it's really hard. It's not as easy as people think. And when you have practicals that you're supposed to attend but you now can't attend, you have to do it from home. So having to do photo or like phone call follow-ups with like clients and your practicum, it's next level something else. It's just something else. Like you just kind of have to adapt in a certain way where you can learn to basically grow from it. Like I had to I spent 2 weeks trying to adapt to the online learning, because we went from like 2 assignments due in 1 week to literally 10 assignments a week, and then you have to have presentations every week or like a proposal towards like mental health or on its own or addiction on its own. So like right now, I'm gonna tell you this because I've already told Claudia, I've got a Zoom call on right now for class. It's on mute. It's on mute while we talk, so it's fine.
I hope your team and your class members are not watching, because that's so terrible. Look, I know that a lot of, students across the country, and you only are speaking from your personal experience. What do you think, school, what do you think could help, students moving forward? Because obviously this is not going to be a regular thing. I don't think Auckland will go into lockdown again. I think we're now. I hope not, but I don't see Auckland going into lockdown again. But in your what's your opinion? Your personal opinion moving forward. What's something that these organisations can do to help students like yourself cope? And is there a better structure that can be put in place? Your personal thoughts.
Personal opinion, I do believe that there is enough work, there is enough support system out there. It just comes down to us taking that step forward, so we're able to reach out and open up, so that we're able to get that support in. Because I never knew about it until I personally went through it myself. And it was really hard. It was very hard, because I got to the point where when MIA started ghosting people, I went like A-zone on everyone, no communications, no contacts, no nothing. And it wasn't until it got to the level where I was on edge. Oh, well, I wasn't on edge. I was literally off the edge. And that's when the help came in. That's when people referred or gave me phone numbers and contact numbers where we can call these people. So mental health, I know mental health and addiction is not a big topic in our Pasifika communities, households, and families, which is also part of the other reasons why I joined and I studied this. Because I personally think that mental health needs to be normalized in our households, because this is part of the reason why the percentage of suicide is going up, because our voices, like our generations, are not heard. Like, they're not being heard, they're not listened, like no one's listening to them, no one's checking up on them. That's my personal opinion. And this is why it drives us, well, not drive us crazy, but like it drives us to a certain area where we get to that bit where we don't appreciate ourselves and we doubt ourselves, and then it just goes downhill from there. So yes, going back to the question, there is a lot of support. We just have to take that one step forward and reach out. So like, if you're watching this, if you feel like you need to talk, you need to vent, to cry, or literally just call me so you can just like, hit the camera or whatever, do like get in contact or anything. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be miserable. As long as I see and I can hear you talk still, and you're still alive, rather than the other side. Do you get it? Yeah.
You've just explained why you're so passionate about taking mental health, to study it. You've just mentioned that, but then before that you've said that you went MIA. You went MIA. Studying mental health, has that helped you to kind of regain that strength, or did you have to find that strength through someone else, or through something else? How did you get back back on your feet?
It's been a very hard, long, draining journey for me this year. Mental health was really off, I don't know, it was something else. But it wasn't until it got to July and someone said to me, Flo, do Dry July with me.
Yeah.
And so I said to her, why would I do Dry July for? And she was like, girl, you need to get your act together and everything. You need to refocus, reset, and reestablish that that mindset that I had before everything went chaotic. And so I said to her, okay, cool. Thank you for giving me a reason to not drink. This is my own personal journey. And so I did dry July. And then July, when it was done, I was so good. It was from then I said to myself, you know what? Get it back together. We're going to do this. So dry July was a whole month of me resetting the mindset, reestablishing everything that I used to have, but that all went down the drain. And then from then on, I said to myself, okay, here comes August. What am I going to do? So I said to myself, okay, stay sober and just keep going. So I did. Come September, it's still the same thing. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? In October, I'm going to do something else and I'm going to keep going, because this helped me come back up. So I lost myself like in the first 6 months or so. I can't remember the month. The first 6 months, 7 months of the year. But I found the courage to actually pull myself together and find that one thing that helped me refocus again. And that was myself. So I said to myself, I'm not going to do this for anyone else. I'm going to do it for me. Because I've had the time of like wanting to do things for people.
Yeah.
I'm someone that says yes to anyone and everyone. I'm someone that pleases everyone, make sure everyone's fine, happy and everything. But I always put myself last. And then it was in July that I said to myself, you know what? I want to focus on me. I'm going to do this for me. I'm never going to grow if I don't learn to appreciate what I am as a human being and as a person. So that's how it all started. And then even until now, like I'm in the Zoom class, I'm on the podcast, and after this, I'm going to go for a run. So this is all me trying to multitask, making sure that everything is like balanced out, and that no matter what happens, no matter what is thrown at you, just keep going one day at a time and one step at a time, because you know your mental health and your well-being matters.
Yeah, and you know it does. And I've actually seen there's been I think it was uploaded yesterday, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong. There was another video that was posted up with, you know, for mums who have been going through, and it's an awesome video. You know, Pacifica, mums who are also struggling. But my question now is, when you have gone MIA, the millions of people that you have helped, did all of these millions of people come to your rescue? Did they know that you're going through some kind of, mental breakdown?
No. That's going to be my simple answer, is no. Reason why was because I never opened up to anyone. And this is part of the reasons why I went MIA. Because I know mental health is such a hidden topic in our community, in our families. So like for me, if I say, oh, mom, I've got mental health, or dad, I've got mental health, the first thing that would come to them is, what are those? Like, what even is that? Like, are you crazy? Like, they see that as a weakness. And I didn't want to be labeled as that person. I don't want to be labeled as the weak one in the family, although I have all these titles, all these like international platforms and other platforms like modeling and everything. I don't want to be seen as that person. But there were a few people that actually did pick up on it. And you are one of them, Pea. Claudia is one of them. There were only a few people that actually picked up on it. And those were the people that actually checked in. So yeah, not everyone, not the 1 million. So regardless how many people that follows you on all social platforms, social medias and everything, only a few people would actually know. Only a few people will actually reach out. And to me personally, like, there is a saying that these are the times where you know and find out who actually really cares, who actually really are down for you to ride with you through that journey. And yeah, I found some real good people.
And
Yeah.
the only reason why I asked that question is, I find a lot of the time, and you're absolutely right, we're so focused on our surrounding and, who on social media is following. And I think, I think social media, and we've spoken to Tony Laulu as well, who is a social media guru, with regards to how we continue to watch social media, who is liking what, who is doing this, who is doing this. And then we get to that stage. And that's the only reason why I asked that question, because, you are a massive, you have a massive following. You do so much for the community. You contribute so much to the community. But when you go MIA, clearly there's something wrong. And that's why I said, hey, are you okay? Because I know that there's been times where, you have this big, massive support group here on Facebook and social media, and then the only people that have been there to carry you through that next part of, your journey has been your family. And it's always been your family that burdened with these kind of things, like, I know that from time to time I cry and lean on my sisters, even though it's difficult, but you're right, it is very difficult to talk about this. Can you share with us what your advice would be now that you haven't had, you haven't studied, you haven't finished your studies yet, but can you give us, from what you already know now and experienced, moving forward, is there something that you've learned that you could apply as a Pasifika woman to help other Pasifika people, like in the same kind of, it's really hard, because we know we're supposed to be strong. We were raised to be warriors, but we were never raised to be kind of like, to show that vulnerability, in us. And is there anything that you've learned now and experienced that you would apply to your life, and any advice that you have for our Pasifika community?
Yes and no. Yes. So I'm just going to bring up this question. So I personally got asked this question yesterday. Mind, body, soul, if you could improve 3 areas of your health, what would that be, or what would that be, and 1 symptom you would improve for each area? And this relates to your question, Bear. And I choose the word growth. I chose the word growth. And then I answered, and then I got asked, why did I say growth for? And I said, because I believe we improve in all 3 by choosing growth in order for us to live, strive, thrive, and heal in ways to better ourselves. And I guess with those, it comes down to the mindset. So having to be someone who's personally gone through mental health, and this is anxieties, normal anxieties, social anxieties. I'm just going to name it because I found the courage, and I've actually come to peace with my journey so far. So yeah, so I'm openly sharing everything now. And if my story helps someone else, then I'll be so grateful and thankful. If me sharing what I have to share, that, you don't have to be alone in this, help someone else, then that's like, I'm crying. Then that's so good as well. Yeah, it's very hard. So having to go through social anxieties, depression. I got diagnosed with food disorder. Yeah, so all of those. And yeah, so all of those, it's very hard because these are the diagnoses that not many of us think about, but it's in us. And stress can just lead to depression. Depression can lead you to anxieties, and then anxieties can be social anxieties. From social anxieties, it leads you to probably suicide attempts. And then from that, it leads you to an actual suicide. And then from that, it'll be too late. It's very hard. So let me just dry my tears up.
Flora, I know it's difficult. I know it's a very difficult, and it is a sensitive topic to talk about. And again, I just want to say that no, we are not professionals. Flora, not yet. She is currently studying mental health and addiction. But please, if you're listening, there are several platforms who provide professional help. This is myself and Flora openly discussing it so that we can normalize it, because like Flora said, it is important. And it is important. I know for myself growing up, I'm a lot older than yourself, Flora, even though I still kind of I feel young, but I know I'm still young. I know growing up, it is difficult. It is very difficult to go to mum and say, Mum, I'm not feeling, too well.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, and
yes,
then you
exactly.
And then leo ko anga le loko e o ka whawhau ma ko whalengi ngā leanga le a mio, and this and this. I think and for the boys podcast normally discuss it, and I think growing up we're taught that we're not supposed to be a certain way. But I think because a lot of the time it's bottled up. And I mean, I think a couple of years ago there was a period in GI where that region itself faced back-to-back suicide. And you would never hear it on the news.
No, they won't, because they won't bring up the statistics. They won't bring that up because it's a topic that it won't be talked about. And I can say that because I personally attempted myself, and it's really hard. It's a hard topic to talk about because people see everything on social media, but behind closed doors there's a whole lot, another level of story that is not to be told, that is not told or shared. And I get told often that there are things better left unsaid. And I said to myself, why? Like, why do you say that? Because I'd rather be open. I'd rather share everything and anything than having to live in regrets. And pass on, and then you'll go on thinking, oh yeah, cool, I should have said this and that. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I forgot to mention this and that. You don't want to live in regrets. And I've learned from this. And when people ask me, do you regret doing everything that you were doing in the past 6-7 months? I said to them, no, I actually don't. I actually don't regret anything, because if I didn't go through that phase, I would not have been personal opinion, I would not have been a better, stronger person from that learning curve. If it wasn't for that barrier, and if it wasn't for those hurdles that I had to go through, I would not have gained the confidence to speak openly about my journey. So yes, there is a lot of support. There is counseling. There is mindfulness workshops. There is a number. I will give all the details to Bear as well, so she can post it up as well. There's a lot of support. There is a lot of people that are out there who's willing to help you, who's willing to come and be there. And if you're not comfortable with them, happily call that one person that's so close to you that you feel more comfortable, you feel more confident talking and sharing to about these topics. And if that person's me, please do so. Like, everyone says, Flora, please promise me this is not going to be told or said or like shared to anyone. All I say is, okay, cool. If you want to call me so we can just talk and have nothing on like conversations or in the chats, do so. I'd rather hear that than me saying, oh my God, I should have done more. Like, I should have been there more for her. Like, that's when the doubts come in. But yeah, don't be afraid to open up. You got this. You're not alone. If you're choosing to ride alone on this journey, come through. Like, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. If I can pull through alone, you guys can pull through alone as well. And this is me saying it to anyone and everyone who's listening, or if you're going to share this podcast or just today's talanoa, share it with an open mind that you're not alone and you got this, we got this. And yeah. Okay,
No, Flora, thank you, because you're right, it is difficult for us to talk about it, and there's a lot of support out there, yes. But I'm just going to quickly read through a few. A shout out to Jules. Jules just said, yes, Bear knows my struggle. Thank you, Jules. Jules is another person. Again, it is, they're smiling, they're doing so much, they're contributing, but deep down inside, behind that smile, there is so much pain. So a shout out to Jules, and also who's gone through something similar. Ciolo's just commented, it's beautiful that you open up to discuss something that you've struggled with, and it's still an ongoing journey. Jules is saying, empowering women. Swanky, thanks. That's why we have a conversation, and it's like being mentioned. The more we talk about it,
yes,
to normalize the talanoa. Moa has a message saying, don't suffer in silence, reach out for help. And we've got Seal who's asked, how do you address the things that trigger mental health in you? Which is a question from Ciolo. And I'm just going to, before you answer that, sorry, Swanky has just, Pat is from the For the Boys podcast. And again, I am going to stress it, the boys have an open and safe platform where you can laugh, you can share, and it's all a discussion and talanoa around mental health. The only reason why I know that it's important to discuss it, because, COVID has played a massive part in shutting the world out. That connection that we have with our families, talk about it. Jump on Thursday's show, talk about it. The boys, have an awesome podcast every Thursday. But Swanky said, sometimes it's up to us that are not going through it to reach out. And he's right. Yeah. For the one who's going through it, the loudest voice in their head are the negative ones. So us that are not going through it, reach out and check in on our family and loved ones. But yes, it is important. I've personally experienced some heartbreak with losing a loved one, suicide, and the pain never goes away. The pain never goes away.
It stays with you.
Yeah. And it has been years since we've lost, our cousin to this, and the questions still remain. What could I have done?
Yeah.
Was there something that I could have said? Was there a moment? And these are the questions that, that will never go away. And the pain will never go away. As time goes, we're reminded that life does go on, but the pain it remains. So, thank you so much for being so vulnerable to be able to share and shed, to openly talk about it. And I know it's difficult. I know after the show, you'll not necessarily the people that have watched, but you're going to probably find that someone else is going to be, mea ngā moa. And I've experienced it myself. I've gone through it myself, and I've been, and I've shared it with the boys for the boys podcast. I've been that person where I have gone out of my way to highlight someone else's weakness, and I've said, "Oh, it's all in the mind," and it wasn't until it hits you, that's when you
start making the move. Yes,
that's
totally agree.
So I think it is really, really important. I know we wanted to discuss a little bit more about, but before we do wrap up, I just want to quickly, what have been some of the changes, and I don't want to talk about the major changes, but what's lifestyle changes that you have made to help you through, and it could be just something as simple as writing a note down, because I know I don't want to do a big, because like I mentioned earlier, we're not professionals, but if we can share some experience to help anyone that's going through this, especially during this time with COVID, what has that been for you?
Two things is, for me, it's journaling. So I started to journal a lot. If that means you're asleep at nighttime and you suddenly wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning because you had a heart rush or an anxiety attack or a panic attack, wake up, write your thoughts, write all the feelings and the emotions down, because you will go back to sleep. Wake up the next morning and you'll be like, oh my God, that happened last night. That happened early hours in the morning. And then from then on, you find a way where you'll be like, okay, cool, what can I do better to go to sleep? So that I don't have to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning the next day or the following day or week or a month as well. So that's helped a lot. The other thing as well for me is my fitness journey. So I've gone back to my fitness journey where I would do 5 or 10 Ks a day of running or walking, and then come home and smash out a hard out workout on like legs, arms, or even core. Workout, do fitness, do workouts, and just journal. If it's not that, simply do some baking. Do some baking, but don't do a beer and bake and drink. Putting you on the spot.
That was terrible. That's probably the worst thing to do is never do that again. But you know what, Flora, I know we and I did want to just quickly share, Jules, everything you said is on point. It takes a very strong person to voice out what you're going through, because the more you hold it in, it leads to those heartbreaking stages. You're amazing for sharing this 100%. So, Jules, a massive shout out to Jules as well, because she's absolutely right. It does take a very strong person to share. And knowing that you've shared, it will help someone else, along the way. And I just wanted to say to anyone that is watching that's going through any type of anxiety or depression, please know that you are loved. Know that you are important, that you are enough, and that reach out. Please reach out. Just know that your presence will be felt when it will be felt. Like I mentioned earlier, the pain is still there of losing a loved one, and it's been years. Years since, but the pain is still there. So your presence will be felt when you're gone. So please, there are several places that you can reach out for help. There's helplines that are available. is, and if you don't want to go to a health line, there's Leva as well. Please reach out. Leva is also available. There's so many organizations that are there to help. We've got BluTable Boys Podcast. We've got us here at we've got Lorenzo's health Samoa. That's every single day from 3 p.m. And if you're Samoan and you struggle with that, the language barrier, Asiata as well.
Yeah,
I know Asiata goes through a few mental breakdowns sometimes.
I feel linked. I bet he's watching and look at me.
So Asiata knows how to overcome certain situations.
Yeah.
So
you're not alone. You're not alone.
No, you are not alone. So please, and Asiata's show is at from 5:30 as well. And then Wednesday we've got a Cheryl as well. So please, there's so many people that are willing to help. Just reach out. I know that sometimes I can't even help myself, but I will try to respond to any of the messages that come in. But we wanted to talk about vaccination as well, but obviously we've run out of time. But Flora, do you have any last or encouraging messages that you have for our viewers that have tuned in today?
Yeah, and this was what I just shared in my presentation before we had the podcast.
Yeah.
I have just submitted a theory research just before the podcast, and it's about mental health and addiction, right? And I said, so in my quote, because we have to have a quote in it to finish off strong, I put there, you are a king and a queen's daughter and ancestors. So your journey now will help the future generation, like our ancestors helped pave the way for us. So if they can overcome all those barriers, all those hurdles in the past for us to live today, it's our turn and it's our time to shine, strive and thrive, so that our future generation and people don't have to struggle because of today's doing. And that comes down to being courageous, like low-key shaking, have the courage to share. Find the courage to share your story. Your story matters, and your journey matters as well. So do you, be comfortable in yourself, empower yourself to empower others. Because not everyone finds the comfort and the confidence to open up. But if me opening up today will help you open up and share as well, please do so. Don't hold back. Don't be afraid, because we need to live today as if it is our last day. So live while you can. Do anything and everything you want, because tomorrow is never promised. Reach out to me, Pea, anyone on the team, on the BluTable Talanoa team, the Blue Wave team. There is also other people as well, like is it for the boys? I know they're probably like, for the boys, podcast. And also Leva. Reach out to them. The Course Collective is also very helpful with these details as well. There's a mental health foundation, guys. I'm yet to pick up my parcel that is yet to come because I'm doing the walk for it. So please jump on board and just reach out. There's also She's Not Your Rehab. There's them as well. There is Shine. There is Brave. These are all the places where you can reach out for these supports. Even if it's a minor trigger, do reach out, because I'd rather see you on Facebook. I'd rather hear from you than me asking Bear, oh my God, she was just on the show yesterday. What the heck happened? I'd rather hear from you than having to cry and regret not having to check in. So if Bear can do that to me, if I can share, and then it's helping you, please do share, because, we're not alone. We're all here for each other. And, yeah, we only live once. Live life, guys.
There you have it, guys. A massive thank you to Flora, who's joined us today on BluTable TV Podcast. Unfortunately, our beautiful Claudia is unwell today, so I hope my prayers are with her at the moment, and my prayers are with everyone that is currently a little bit, on edge because of how COVID has affected our daily living. So, please just know that we are there for you. I know that Siola's probably going to laugh because I'm from time to time shut her out. But thank you so much for allowing me to use your credit card to make my online purchases. A massive shout out to everyone that's tuned in, to all of our sponsors. Once again, if you do want to, to purchase anything from any of the people that we have or any of our sponsors, you can find their details on our Facebook page. We do from time to time share them. A massive whawhetau lover to our boy Pat, who continues to show love and support for us. Please, For the Boys podcast, they're every Thursday. And also Half Measures as well. That's another awesome podcast that we've been following. But otherwise, whawhetau lover to everyone for showing love. Just remember, you are enough. You are
and you matter.
And you matter.
Yes.
Okay. But 3 o'clock, we've got Lorenzo's Pacific Health Talanoa, and we've got Asiata at 5:30 this afternoon, followed by the King at 8 o'clock. But producer Rams will get that all sorted. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much for showing the love and support. Support your local. That's us. God bless.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Stay blessed.
O le whaamama awenga le nei ma le Pacific Easy, mo au tupe whaamumoli Samoa, a o tapuni ai ofisa mo le whaava yaso. Whaonga nei lolna wa unanga forward ta ua, o le direct transfer. A whai wa yesa membership card ma e whaonga ina le internet banking, o le matua i whaingo fia lava. Na o le tipose mai lava lau se leni mato account, o na whaatino leo la foina o lau se leni mo a inga i Samoa. E ia inga i tahu na whaamalia ina, mo nisi whaamatalanga i le nei au nanga fo. Wala au le telefoni o walu se lau o tasi o nono, po le lua fitu ono fitu iwa fitu wha. Pe text mai fo ilo suafa i le valu tolu o.
Telephone voucher is one of the most convenient ways that I'm finding now to do my shopping here at Farmer Joe, and my sister just sent through the voucher on my cell phone, and I just come straight here to Farmer Joe to do my shopping.
O le si tūranga pitusili o le tāua. O le lafo me o le pepa tala o loa. O na whaanga le whaatau i o loa e au ngā mo le ainga.
I think it's really convenient for families overseas if they don't know how to help their families here. Then this is the perfect way.
Mai ai le sa sunga fua tau e le sia sa.
Le fia foi sa we mo mawina le foi au nang fo e ala mai le talo fo voucher. Ila wana whaatau ma me te mga oi. Ile voucher.
Tai mo le talo pa voucher ua maua le apususi o sewa fine. So se paro loa whaingo fie, a me se le te wherua i mana o telefoni tai mi uma. Ai lo le lafo me le cash o na inu e leo tamao le ainga.
Whaatea tu lava le talo pa voucher mo le foi au nang fo whaatai. Ma lua lava le taumpai.
Tai talo pa voucher. Teki talo pa voucher.
Tau tua ma le au nanga le mot tau sa mo service station nei tona i matu. Ma tau te utuina lo ta vale, ma le tele o nisi o matu au nanga i se ese. Ai le ngata foile, ma tau te seke ina fo ilo ta vale. Sapala ya foi suau. Mola utapan. Afai foi vai pa olosa. Awala te pon matu te sapalaya foi e amoro utapan. Molo no posila fia. Mua tapela utavale pe auto. Lua tapela o telefone tai me utu ina ilo utavale. Male vaenga mulu. Mana tua fo. E matua I pasa aina lo tau maktapa ai no fuanga pa pe. Mota Samoa. Ore mota mo Samoa. Mado te fia e au na pe mo o Samoa. Paftaila fia mai. We'll see you again. God bless.
Squad, baby. Rex, J. Sands.
Let's go.
Oh, say I'm a say you are complete to me, I get you. By the way that you move and the way that you smile. Say, oh my Dorima, baby, you be giving your hand, I'll take you anywhere. You give me something that I never had. Cause you care, but about to me and the family. Say, why you waiting for me to talk to you? Yeah, I'ma listen what y'all say. Yeah, don't move on in and come here. Yeah, they on the nail, to dirty wine, girl, dirty wine. Yeah, say, tama in, they not the pipe, say,